Hi, this is Mark Trudeau from Troy Martial Arts, and I put together a PowerPoint presentation video on our reopening strategy, Make Training Safe, and it's our response to the COVID-19 coronavirus. This is myself, Mark, and my wife Tammy. We're the owners of Troy Martial Arts in Troy, Michigan. And a little background, Troy Martial Arts celebrated its 40th anniversary on May 30th. We're an official Team USA Olympic Taekwondo school. We've got a 4,000 square foot facility on the border of Troy and Rochester Hills, Michigan. And we have 13 professional adult instructors and between 400 and 500 students aged 5 and up. And what I'd like to do is bring to you what we've done in terms to respond to the COVID-19. And Troy Martial Arts will meet or exceed all requirements and recommendations set forth by the CDC, HHS, WHO, and the TKD Pro. And I know a lot of you have heard of all these, maybe not the Taekwondo professionals, but that's a group we belong to that consists of hundreds of Taekwondo schools around the United States and Canada and beyond, and we talked together, we benchmarked, but a big part of that was the COVID-19, and we got to be able to see what all the schools were doing around the United States and Canada for the most part, and that's where we learned a lot of stuff. So if we put this into 6 different parts, first one is facility, second topic is cleaning and disinfecting, third is PPE, then social distancing, then scheduling, and then staff. First, we'd like to talk about the facility, and a big part of our improvements have been the air exchange system. The air and exchange system consists of a furnace and air conditioning system. We've got 3 furnaces and 3 air conditionings in our school, and we've also got them all programmed and running 24/7 on a schedule. But the fan itself runs 24/7. The fan is always running. We also have fresh air exchange dampers. Now the CDC highly recommends businesses to have fresh air exchange systems. And it turns out Troy Martial Arts is equipped with 3 fresh air exchange roof dampers. These were all installed in 2016, and they allow for a highly efficient exchange of air within the school. I know a lot of you that go to school here know that the air is very fresh. It's very clean, and that's not by accident. It was designed that way in 2016 with the roof dampers, and what that does is it allows us to bring a lot of fresh air into the school. Years ago, it smelled like a gym, which is something I didn't want. So I looked into what people do at the casinos. I know casinos have a lot of air roof dampers because of the cigarette smoke, and I wanted a similar thing here. I wanted to exchange the air, and this is what we found, and we made this improvement in 2016. It was a very large expense, but it was money well spent. Also, what we've done is we have our air balance is optimized at the school. Our school contains 36 air return and supply diffusers in the ceiling. And actually, there's 21 supply and 15 return air supplies. And all these diffusers have air quantity and speed associated with them. We had a company come in, a professional company, and balance all the diffusers. And what I wanted there was there's air coming in, there's air going out, and I wanted it to be balanced. Very important that these are all balanced so that the air is circulating, the air is getting exchanged with the roof dampers, and everything's working properly. They came in, and of course, as you would expect, everything was out of control, and now everything is in perfect control. But this was also done in 2016. This isn't something new. This was done in 2016. All the filters on all the furnaces are also allergenic filters. That's big because we're in here all day, and I'm very big on having filters and proper air in the building, and so those are in place. Now the last thing here on this page is ultraviolet lights, and this is something that we definitely just did in trying to exceed the CDC recommendations. Now, the CDC and the other agencies strongly suggest using ultraviolet lights. This is something I've done at our home all the time. I just had 3 ultraviolet lights installed into the return air systems, all 3 systems in the dojang, and now when the air hits that ultraviolet light, it kills everything within sight. That's huge. So not only do we have the fresh air exchange in place, that we have everything balanced, but we've got now all the air hitting ultraviolet lights and killing anything that it comes in contact with, anything it comes in sight of. So this COVID-19 is not going to survive going through this system. So the next, let's go to the page. We also installed brand new cubby holes. So you'll see when you come into school, we've got cubby holes so that the students can come in, put their stuff inside their cubby hole and go to class. Their shoes and jackets will go in the cubby holes. This is an improvement. Before we used to hang up our jackets and just let the shoes on the floor, but it caused a lot of chaos. Now that we've got the cubby holes, it should be a lot more easier and efficient for the students to put their stuff in there and retrieve it and leave the school. I also included on here parking. Now the school has ample parking. There's over 200 parking spots out here. It's not a problem, but what we might want to do temporarily is to have people park. If you're concerned, just park a little bit away from other cars and walk into the school. Just one more thing you can do. One more thing, the drinking fountains have all been turned off, so there's no drinking fountains. And what we're asking you to do is, if you want to, you can bring your water in and leave it in your cubby hole. Bring your bottled water in. And we are also strongly encouraging students to use the bathroom prior to arriving at the school. However, the bathroom access will be there. All the bathrooms will be electrostatically sprayed before and after every class, and more on that in section 2. But that's a suggestion from us. Section 2, cleaning and disinfecting. It's a standard practice at Troy Martial Arts since 2016. We have it professionally cleaned and disinfected every morning. That includes vacuuming the entire school, washing all the doors, windows, mirrors, display cases, everything. All 3 bathrooms get cleaned and disinfected. All the floor mats are mopped with hospital grade cleaners. These mats are cleaned every single day. They have been since 2016, and most of our students realize this. Now, Part B is EPA approved hospital grade disinfectants that killed COVID-19, and this was very important. I spent a lot of time studying the different cleaners, and these are the 3 cleaners we use in our school. Clorox cleaner and bleach disinfectant, 70% isopropyl alcohol, and those 2 we have always used. So we were lucky, I'll say, we've been using the right ones. And number 3 is, or on here is the NCL quaternary disinfectant. Now we use this in the electrostatic sprayer, which I'm going to talk about in a minute. So these are the 3 different liquids. One of the important ones is the 70% isopropyl alcohol. When you see us around the school, you'll always see us with these spray bottles, and those are filled with 70% isopropyl alcohol. I use those in my office. Master Trudeau uses them out on the floor. This is what you see all the time. 2C is the electrostatic sprayer. This is a huge improvement. Now, we learned that it's extremely important to not only clean and disinfect, but to utilize an electrostatic sprayer. And what an electrostatic sprayer does is you put liquid into this system, and it charges it electrically. It's plugged in, and it's got batteries. And what happens is it generates a fog or droplets of the liquid coming out. And when you go around on the floor or chairs and you use this fogger, I'll call it a fogger, the liquid comes out, and because it's been electrically charged, the molecules of the liquid try to get away from each other, and that's what turns it into a fog. When it drops onto the mats out here on the floor, it actually clings to whatever it can, uniformly distributed across the whole floor. Very important. This is something that we're going to do before and after every single class we have here. The classes have now been designed 20 minutes between classes, so people can come in, take their class, and leave. And as soon as they start to leave, we get the electrostatic sprayer out. We electrostatic everything, and it dries within 5 minutes. And we've killed everything on the floor with this electrostatic sprayer. This is the biggest thing we improved on, and that's a big improvement because the system ended up costing $4,000, so it's an expensive system, but it's very necessary. You cannot run a school without an electrostatic sprayer. And this is something you'll see in the schools. You've seen them on the news with the foggers, and even then, they're only using them once a day. We're using them between every class. Every single class is going to get this used. Part 2D is wiped down with 70% isopropyl. We do this all the time. We also have developed a cleaning chart that's now posted in the Dojang with all these different things we're supposed to clean, and we're initialing them every day to make sure everything's being cleaned every single day. And F is the carpets and the chairs are professionally cleaned. This is something we always do. It's done every 4 months. So the floors, the carpets, and the chairs get done every 4 months. But on top of that, we are using the electrostatic sprayer in between classes on the chairs. Part 3 is personal protection equipment. Students, families, and staff are expected to come in healthy, clean, hands washed, visited the restrooms already. That's what happened already before they got here. Masks are mandatory upon entering the school. Everybody must have a mask on. Students and instructors have the option of removing their masks and placing it in their belt when they're on the floor on their spots, which we'll get to in a little bit. But students and instructors can take it off on the floor when they're ready to go and replace it back on when they're ready to leave the floor. We also have a new system in place, and this is brand new, the foam in, foam out. We have a automatic foam system when you're entering the floor and coming off the floor, and it's filled with sanitized solution used for your hands. So when a student is ready to go on the floor, they're going to hit that. They're going to get a little squirt of some foam, and they're going to wipe it all over their hands and go right to their spot on the floor. When we're done with class, or when they come off the floor, they will do the same thing. They come off the floor, they're going to get the foam in, foam out. Same thing you see at doctor's offices. We've got one here, and it's working very well. Master Trudeau and I have been using it. Part D is temperatures. Temperatures will be required for all staff every single day upon entering the school. Also, the staff at any time can request that a student get their temperature taken. We're not going to take temperatures of all the students coming in. But what we will do is if we notice somebody that looks like they have a fever for some reason, they will come into the office and we'll take their temperature. We have a touchless infrared temperature gauge right at my desk, and we'll take their temperature. And if it happens to be over 100 degrees, then we'll ask them to leave. We'll find the parents or respectfully leave, and we'll take care of it. Also, the office is now set up with a desktop sneeze guard protector. Part 4, social distancing. Of course, all people coming into the Dojang should use the proper 6-foot minimum distancing. We got some spots on the floor to help out with that. Students entering the building. We always have limited arrival times to be 10 minutes before class. And now it says here we're changing it to 5 minutes, but I think pretty sure we're going to keep it at the 10 minutes. Just don't come in too early. We'll not be using the back entrance. We're only going to use the front entrance. Students, as they arrive, can start lining up on the sidewalk. As you enter the school, there's going to be a staff member at the end of the display case, and we're going to ask for their name, and we're going to get their student card ourselves and keep it in a pile. The students are not going to take their cards, so they're not going to touch their cards. We're going to take care of the cards for them. And then they're going to proceed to the area that they always go to. They're going to take their shoes and coat off and put them in the cubby hole and enter the class floor. Students, while they're in class, the CDC guidelines for social distancing was established at 6 feet, and it turns out our floor is 6 foot. If you've noticed, our floor was always at 6 foot social distancing. But what we have done is we've changed the numbering system on the floor to a circle, square, 1, 2 system. And what that does is it allows us to set the students up at an optimal, I'll say a maximum distance. And Master Trudeau will go over that in class. But essentially, if we get anywhere up to 19 students, we've got them all separated on the floor at 12-foot social distances, which is fantastic. When it gets over 19, I think from 20 to 30, we've got another spot. We say stand on these spots, and it keeps everybody about 10 feet distance from each other. Worst case is you get up to 45 students or more, and then we're back to the 6 foot social distancing. But what I wanted to do was try to maximize the social distancing, which helps out on the floor anyway. Before we used to just let them go where they wanted to, kind of keep everybody up in the front next to each other. Now we're just going to maintain our general practice is going to be to try to spread the floor out as much as possible while we're doing this COVID-19 response. Departing class. As you depart, you will be doing your foam in, foam out thing, retrieving your stuff from the cubby hole, and then leaving. Part E is new, spectators. We're trying to minimize the spectators that are in here during class. What we've done is we've put in 3 cameras in the school, and I'll go over this in a few minutes, because these cameras are being used to take classes at home, or you can take them here. But they can also be used by parents to live stream the classes on their smartphones and sit in their cars in the parking lots and watch class while they're sitting in the parking lot. So in order to get on those cameras, you've got to send me your email address, and we got to get you set up, which I've already explained on Facebook a few times and on the app. But if you want to get access to those live streaming cameras, all you do is send me your email, you get set up, and you're ready to go. The chairs in the lobby, we usually have 50 chairs out there, 50 to 60. It's now down to about a dozen. They all got 6 foot distance on them. And for some parents, if you have to come in and sit and watch, you can come in and sit. We're not going to keep it. We're not going to tell people you can't come in and sit. I know we got some new students. A new 5-year-old comes in for the first day. It's pretty tough having mom or dad sit out in the car when the kid's in here. So in those cases, they like to sit in here and watch. But eventually, hopefully, everybody can sit out in their car and watch class from the car. And it's also got sound on it, so you can hear what's going on. Number 5 is scheduling. As I said, we got a live stream camera system. The cameras can be used to watch classes and take them at your house, and they can be watched in the parking lot by parents. We also have set up a new schedule, and these schedules have been set up so that each belt has their own class. So we went from 23 classes to 47 classes a week. Every class is its own color. And there's 4 or 5 classes a week with each color. We're asking all students to limit their classes at 2 times per week. We always have had an unlimited classes, come as often as you want. We've never had a problem. But because we're in this situation and we're trying to keep classes at a minimum, we're asking everybody that they do 2 in-school classes per week. Of course, at home, you can do as many classes as you want. In addition to that, but in the school, 2 per week is the limit. And let's see what we say here. We've decided to stop all sparring classes until further notice. Of course, the sparring classes involves kicking each other and punching each other, and you're touching each other, and that's not good right now. So what Master Trudeau has done is designed all the classes so we can do everything except for sparring. And we'll work our way into that as we get further into the response further this year. Number 6 is staff. All staff is required to get their temperature every day. All staff must wear masks unless they're on the floor, and it's up to them. And as far as staff goes, we're discouraged from all discretionary travel. If somebody goes out of the area, we're asking them to quarantine for 14 days. If anybody comes up with any symptoms or tests positive, of course, they're going to stay away for 14 days or more, depending on the situation. And Also, the staff, we took the opportunity during the COVID and this year to do training. All of our first aid training and certification was completed in March. All of our AED and CPR training was completed in March. We also have as most of you know, an AED on site here in the school. We have our own AED just in case we need it. We've never needed it in all these years, but you never know, and we're all trained in it, and we're ready to go if we ever need it. And they've also been trained in the Troy Martial Arts COVID-19 response training, which is coincidentally this video. And as far as so that was the 6 topics. A summary of those 6 topics. The facility. Now, if we go over this again, the facility. HVAC has continuous running fans. We did an air balance optimization. We got allergenic filters. We put in ultraviolet lights. We put in cubby holes. Number 2, cleaning and disinfecting. Everything's cleaned every day, as always. EPA-approved cleaners, electrostatic sprayer before and after every class, a cleaning chart sign-off. Number 3 is the PPE, and those that requires masks worn by all, custom masks for all students, and foam in, foam out station required for all students. Temperatures required for all staff. Sneeze guard in the office. Number 4 was social distancing, which is keep the standard 6-foot distances. New procedure for the school and the floor. Classes now set up for students to stand on markers designed for social distancing. Spectators now can watch their live stream cameras out in the car or on their computers. And if necessary, we got chairs set up properly. It's a 6-foot rule. Number 5 is scheduling. Live stream cameras can be used now to take classes. You can come in for classes. There's no sparring classes. And number 6 was staff. We've got new rules for the staff. You got to wear your mask. You got to get your temperatures taken. Background checks have all been completed, and training in first aid, CPR, AED, and COVID-19. And all that, I'd like to say again, we spent a lot of time the last 3 months making these improvements, and as I said, Troy Martial Arts will meet or exceed all requirements and recommendations set by the CDC, HHS, WHO, and TakeKD Pro. And I thank you for listening to this, and I hope to see everybody soon. Thank you very much.